This week on Beacon Web News, we've got the results from the local election.
The United States is very broken right now, and there's a lot of miscommunications, there's a lot of different things that are going on.
Then, we sit down with the two alums responsible for bringing back beloved cafe, the Parlor. And we flash back to the past at the History Harvest. That's all coming up next on Beacon Web News. Hello, and welcome to the November 7th issue of Beacon Web News. I'm Allie Teenel. The results are in. Yesterday, November 6th, was Election Day, and with it came shattered records. With early voting alone, 36 million people sent in ballots, a large spike from 2014's 27 million. BWN was at the polls to hear from the numerous individuals who came out to cast their votes.
We are here at the polls in North Adams, where voter turnout was very heavy, and the same could be said for other areas such as Cheshire and Adams. And we asked people, why was it important for them to vote in this midterm election?
We have that right, and we shouldn't be deprived of it. We should go and vote, no matter who you vote for.
Because it's important to have your voice heard.
Well, traditionally speaking, the midterms have the lowest turnout have a much lower turnout than the presidential elections. So like presidential, that's where you elect the president. This is where you actually elect the majority of your Congress. Specifically with this election, we're actually voting on district attorney, and it's a choice between somebody who's very greatly experienced with Andrea Harrington and somebody who has 30 years of experience, albeit he's a write-in. So honestly, if I have to say I'm voting, it's probably because of the district attorney race, if anything.
I vote in every election. I always have. I was a reporter when I first started my career. Now I work in higher ed, as you know. And so I really believe in voting as my civic duty, and I take it seriously, and I vote in every primary, too.
To make sure the right guy wins.
Because it's an important thing, and everybody's got to do it.
I think there's the United States is very broken right now, and there's a lot of miscommunications, there's a lot of different things that are going on, and I think if we leave it up to the voters to see, maybe the voters can straighten it out, because politics are certainly not straightening anything out.
From the polls in North Adams, I'm Julia Texera.
Thanks, Julia. Now let's turn to BWN's Victoria Weichel for the latest on which candidates came out on top.
6 was the midterm elections. BWN covered the results with NBCTC, talking with candidates for the Registrar of Deeds and District Attorney. Results of Massachusetts election included incumbent Elizabeth Warren winning the Senate seat, incumbent Charlie Baker winning the governor's race, incumbent Maura Healey winning Attorney General. Cheshire County District Attorney went to Andrea Harrington, fighting against incumbent write-in Paul Cadavillo.
Well, considering the fact that the 91% of eligible voters in Berkshire County voted in the primary election, and the fact that I think it was about 62% voted against the incumbent district attorney, I was surprised that, given those statistics, that he would launch a write-in campaign.
Late last night, Maria Zamba was confirmed as Northern Berkshire Registrar of Deeds. With Beacon Web News, I'm Victoria Weichel.
Beyond the candidates for the gubernatorial election, the race for district attorney, and many others, there are also 3 highly contested ballot questions that residents had to vote on. Here are the results. Question 1 was voted no. Question 2 was voted yes. And question 3 was also
I'm
voted
across
yes.
the street.
Save the date for Dance Co's fall show, happening Friday, November 9th at 8 p.m. and Saturday, November 10th at 2 p.m. The show will take place in Venable Theater, and be sure to keep a lookout for the tabling in the marketplace to reserve your tickets. Veterans Day is this upcoming Monday, and North Adams Veteran Services are off to a strong start for Operation Christmas for Veterans. The drive will be gifting their families bags of clothing, home goods, and hygiene items. Tina Sampson told BWN that they have over 180 veterans across northern Berkshire County. Donations are accepted all year round for the Veterans Food Bank located in City Hall. Ready to sip away your stress? The Parlor Cafe is back and under new management thanks to the combined efforts of 2 MCLA alums. BWN's Andrew Strout sat down with the two to see just how the revitalization came to be.
I'm across the street from the reopened Parlor Cafe, which is now under new ownership of Julia Daly and Nick Tardivi. After Serenity Parlor closed last winter, MCLA alumni Julia Daly and Nick Tardivi have been planning to reopen the cafe under its original name of the Parlor Cafe. And just last week, they were finally able to open their doors. At the Parlor Cafe, customers can order a coffee, grab some cheesecake, and sit at the counter to chat with the friendly owners. Currently, the parlor offers a selection of bagels, different cakes, assorted teas, and of course, coffee. Although their menu is currently limited, Daly and Tardivi plan to slowly expand their menu and hope to offer sandwiches and other drinks in the near future.
We are doing hot coffee drinks. We'll be adding iced coffee drinks kind of probably in a couple of weeks, a week or two. And we do bagels, baked goods, muffins, scones.
The Parlor Cafe reopening has been exciting news to many, but especially to MCLA students who used to go to the shop to participate in their weekly open mic nights and trivia nights.
I would like to see chess tournaments at the parlor, open microphones, and a little bit of trivia.
Daly and Tardivi hope to bring back these events, but need some time to get their feet wet and to expand their menu to serve bar food and liquor.
People are asking, are you going to do open mics? When's the first open mic? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Can our band play? But everybody's been really forgiving, and that's really helped us with this process.
Daly had mentioned that she hopes to be in full swing with events in January, and that it would be confusing to start them now, with MCLA students soon going on Thanksgiving break and winter break shortly after. With low prices and a location right next to campus, the parlor is a hot spot for MCLA students.
I get a different drink every time, although I'm starting to find my favorites, which is the chai latte.
Neither of us had any barista experience, so, it's just everything was new for us.
The Parlor Cafe is open Wednesdays to Mondays until 5 p.m. and is closed on Tuesdays. For Beacon Web News, I'm Andrew Strout.
From November 8th to the 10th, Drury Stage Company will be putting on the musical Sweet Charity. For Thursday and Friday night's show, the play will begin at 7 p.m. and Saturdays will start at 2. Tickets are $5 for students and $10 for adults. Come out and support the local high school performing arts center. On Saturday, November 10th at 8 p.m., Mass Mocha is hosting the play The Fall of the House of Usher, the stage version of Edgar Allan Poe's famous short story. The performance features puppets, music, and live actors for a truly unique show. Tickets are $15 for students and advanced $20 at the door, and $30 for preferred seating, and can be purchased at massmocha.org. North Adams will be one of 3 northwestern Massachusetts communities to receive 2,000 trees to plant over the next 3 years, with the other 2 communities being Greenfield and Montauk. Franklin Land Trust has said that the 3 communities are considered to be gateway cities to forested lands. Tree planting will start in spring 2019. With fall sports having drawn to a close, it's time for MCLA Trailblazers to gear up for the next round of athletics. BWN's Karina Matera has a sneak preview of what's to come. It was like that.
Hello and welcome to the bi-weekly sports report. I'm Karina Matera. In the past week, high school soccer wrapped up its final games. Our 4 local teams ended the season strong. Drury girls finished with an overall record of 7-11-1, Hoosick Valley finished with 8-7-3, McCann Tech with 0-17-1, and Mount Greylock with 11-6-3. And on the boys' side, Drury concluded with an overall record of 6-11-1. Hoosick Valley with 4-10-0, McCann Tech with 3-14-1, and Mount Greylock with 10-6-2. And get ready, right around the corner we have high school basketball approaching us quickly. Make sure to tune in on all of the action this December through March to our bi-weekly high school recaps here and NBCTC's annual High School Basketball Weekly Show. Now, on to our MCLA Trailblazers. Jabari Shakir is here in the studio to discuss the men's and women's basketball teams that are opening up their 2018 to 2019 season.
Both women's and men's basketball teams are preparing for their 2018 season openers later this week. Each team hopes to improve their records and performances over the last year. The men's team lost in the second round of the playoffs last year to Bridgewater State, and the women's team did not make it to the playoffs. The MCLA men's basketball program is expected to finish 6 out of the 7 teams in the MASCAC preseason poll of the league's coaching staff. Last year, the men's team finished with an overall record of 10-16 with a 6-6 record in the MASCAC. The Trailblazers have 8 players returning, but they have to replace their top 4 scorers from last season. Senior Keyshawn Monroe averaged 8 points per game last year and led the team in assists from the point guard position. Sophomores Mike DeMartinez and Hayden Burr should also play important roles in the offense this year. As freshmen, they combined an average of 15 points per game. The women's basketball team is expected to finish last in the preseason MASCAC poll. They had an overall record of 6-18 last year and were 2-10 in the MASCAC. MCLA's top 2 scorers from last season are now seniors. Courtney Pengelski and Sam Gowron are finishing their last year as Trailblazers. Pengelski scored 12 points per game last season and is the team's leading rebounder at 7 points per game. Gowron averaged 10 points per game last season with 6 rebounds per game. Senior point guard Mackenzie Robinson is looking to play a key role for her team as well. Last year, Robinson set a school record of 114 assists and averaged 7 points per game. The men's team will play their first game of the season at John Jay on Friday, November 9th at 7 p.m. Women's will play their first home game against Springfield on Saturday, November 10th at 5 p.m. For Beacon Web News, I'm Jabari Shakir.
Thanks, Jabari. That's all our recap for today. For Beacon Web News, I'm Karina Matera.
Scared of getting what everyone else has? Having the flu is no fun, and Walmart has your back. Walmart Pharmacy will be providing flu shots on November 13th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Campus Center Marketplace. Flu shots are available for anyone in need, and they suggest bringing your insurance card, as some insurances may require a copay. For more information, you can contact MCLA Health Services on Office 365 or call them at 413-662-5421. Make sure to spread the word so that we don't spread the flu. Hungry for some food and live music? On Saturday, November 10th at 8 p.m., join the J.P. Murphy Band as they perform their assortment of Celtic folk songs down at the Freight Yard Pub. The band was formed in 1993 by J.P. Murphy and his son Patrick in Orlando and have been sharing their eclectic compilations of music ever since. The show is free of charge and open to all ages. Common Folk is calling for art to fill their first exhibit in their new space at 73 Main Street. The theme of the exhibit is to bless the space between us. The exhibit will run for 1 month, curated by Kristen Jusilla. Deadline is November 15th. Submit your work at submissions.commonfolk@gmail.com. This past weekend, Ryan Scott's documentary on Puerto Rico had a screening at the Old Castle Theater, and BWN's Erica Lucia was there to soak in the sight.
MCLA alumni Ryan Scott brought himself and a team to Puerto Rico after the devastating tragedy of Hurricane Maria to create a documentary called Rebuilding Puerto Rico and to help the community get back on their feet. The documentary viewing took place in Bennington, Vermont at the Old Castle Theater on Friday evening. Here's a sneak peek of the documentary.
Y yo sabía que de alguna parte iba a llegar la ayuda y van a llegar unos ángeles a ayudarnos.
I am pretty amazed at people's resilience and the ability to be able to withstand what they can withstand. And to be able to be here a little bit and to come and show what community means, that we can come and just be here and be present and to be able to do what we can, I think is very important. I just took a step back and watched. These guys are so committed to this work. They know this work, they love this work, they want to get it done, and they just get going with it. Out of all the places we've been, this has been by far the most impressive.
Today we got up and came here, and we have been working really hard all day. It's been really great.
Scott's hard work and creativity took over hundreds of hours. Being the one to put this heartfelt documentary together, he lets us in on his process of creating Rebuilding Puerto Rico.
My process was, when I traveled, I really had no idea what to expect. I didn't know what the story was going to be. And I didn't want to really craft the story. I wanted to let the story happen and record and document it while I was there. So basically, I went in with an open mind and I had some questions ready to ask people in interviews, but that had to shift a lot while we were there because the story, of course, ended up being very much unlike I expected.
Sienna McFallon, a freshman here at MCLA, was fortunate enough to attend the Puerto Rico trip. With having family from Puerto Rico, this trip not only meant a lot to Sienna, but became personal as well.
The Puerto Rico trip meant a lot to me because I'm Puerto Rican myself, and when I first heard about Hurricane Maria, I kind of was like, I don't really know what I can do. All I can do is donate money. And so when the trip kind of fell into the CDC's hands and I got involved, I was like, well, this is what I can do now.
Jim Goodine, Puerto Rico trip coordinator, enlightens us on what pushed for him to coordinate this trip.
Well, my wife is Puerto Rican, and we go to Puerto Rico every year, usually in the springtime, and a lot of family down there, and my daughter goes down, and my son, and their families, and we just have like a big family party down there, and I just thought, I really can't be sitting on the beach with an umbrella in my drink, and you know, when people up on the side of the mountain don't even have a roof over their head. So it didn't take much for me to get going, and it did take a lot of work to find what to do down there.
The beautiful island of Puerto Rico will never look the same due to Hurricane Maria. Scott explains the struggles that the group had to go through in order to get from point A to point B.
It was winter here in Vermont when we left, and we arrived to 85-degree weather. So it was, in many ways, everything was just challenging. So we were dealing with heat, potential dehydration, traveling through the roads to get to where we were rebuilding was a big challenge because, for example, we encountered some downed lines. So the lines from the telephone poles were wrapped around our truck. So we actually had to, believe it or not, by hand, remove the lines from the truck.
Thanks to Ryan Scott, Sienna McFallon, Jim Goodine, and many more, lives in Puerto Rico will be affected in a positive way. From Beacon Web News, this is Erica Lucia.
This season, iBerkshires teamed up with Eleanor Cincini Animal Shelter, the Berkshire Humane Society, and Second Chance Animal Shelter. iBerkshires now features an animal adoption spotlight section on their website that they've shared through social media. Many different businesses, like the Computer Bug, were approached by them and asked to help sponsor the pet adoption spotlight for this upcoming season. The Computer Bug is now partial to the energetic 3-year-old dog named Odin and are happy to get the word out. If this fall reflects the summer adoption season, almost all of our local furry friends will have a home. In order to achieve that goal, check out this adoption spotlight today at iberkshires.com. Already stressing about finding the perfect gift for the holidays? Get your shopping done at Holiday Craft Bazaar, held at North Adams American Legion, Post 125 on November 17th from 9 to 3. A food basket raffle, door prizes, and a Chinese auction will also be part of the festivities. Interested in becoming a vendor? Contact Betty at North Adams American Legion. Hate speech and mass shootings have become an all too common occurrence in today's political climate. On this week's edition of Take Note, Andrew Belargin discusses ways to catch yourself and others from falling into stereotype traps in light of the Pittsburgh synagogue.
The Tree of Life synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh last Saturday is considered the worst anti-Semitic attack in U.S. history. The alleged shooter yelled during the attack, "All Jews must die." He targeted Jewish people possibly because they have been helping refugees settled in the United States. Ever since the 2016 presidential election, it seems refugees have been a point of political contention, primarily with President Trump, who has expressed anti-Muslim, anti-Mexican, and recently anti-LGBTQIA+ sentiments during both his initial presidential campaign and recent rallies. These glorious words have stimulated his supporters truly to give way to a darker reality that even non-Trump supporters might not be totally aware of. Not long after this hate-filled shooting, MCLA President James Burge sent out a school-wide email saying, quote, "Our nation was founded with glorious words which hid a darker reality." This sentiment seems to echo the general thinking of Tree of Life spiritual leader, Rabbi Jeffrey Myers, who told President Trump, quote, "Hate speech leads to hateful actions," while he also suggested hate speech was part of the reason for the horrible shooting. We should not simply pass off the shooting as the byproduct of hateful words, but I do think there is merit in holding one another accountable when hate speeches or hateful sentiments occur. What may seem like an innocent joke, whether it is something seemingly silly or violent and serious, is really someone being blatantly offensive, seriously ignorant, and spreading untrue, negative, and hurtful remarks. This needs to end. I would never advocate for violence, of course, but in a society where hateful and hostile remarks hurt, we can benefit from noticeable pushback or resistance against these sentiments. The next time you hear your friends say, "That's so gay," or maybe "he hoards money like a Jew," say something about it. Being that guy is completely okay in such situations. And no, it's not being a snowflake, it's being a decent human being. Say no to hate and negativity, and we can work towards making the world a genuinely better place. Thank you, and make sure to view Beacon Web News next week for another edition of Take Note.
The Berkshire Food Project is accepting donations for their 2018 Community Thanksgiving meal that will take place on Monday, November 19th. You can bring your non-perishable food items to the First Congregational Church located on Main Street in North Adams. Donating food to families in need is a great way to give back to the community and get into the Thanksgiving spirit. Join IGE for Ally Week. Starting on November 26th through Friday, November 30th, students can learn more about how to become an ally for the LGBTQIA+ community in the Campus Center Marketplace. For more information, you can contact the official IGE Facebook page at MCLA IGE. Just a reminder, the exhibit Scalar is open at Used Dan Gallery in Bennington, Vermont. This is a solo exhibition put on by Torquays Dyson. Dyson takes inspiration from geometric and mathematic forms and produces artwork as paintings and sculptures. Swing by to see what this is all about on any day from 1 to 5 p.m., but do it soon as the exhibit ends December 15th. This past weekend, North Adams Public Library hosted their History Harvest, where diaries, photographs, and more had the opportunity to be digitized. BWN's Julia Texera took a trip back in time with them to get the rundown on the relics.
This past weekend, the North Adams Public Library and MCLA history professor Eli Janis hosted History Harvest. Residents had the chance to bring in different historical items and tell the story behind them.
Well, this is a bell which would be used in boxing, and it is from the Meadowbrook Arena, which was located in North Adams.
This is actual fusing and caps from Mr. Mowbray's electric fuse.
And this is a picture of my great-grandpa Jesse Gifford.
This is a German postcard that I got from my father, and it's spectacular in that it has a sound effect to it.
So we purchased a house that's a pre-1900 house on Church Street, and in the attic, in the insulation, we found a lot of random objects. And this is a ledger of like checks and balances and loans and bonds and stocks.
History professor Eli Janis tells BWN the inspiration behind the event.
So the idea behind it was just kind of reaching out to the community, asking them to come in, bring some items, piece of their personal history, and so an opportunity for everyone to sort of tell their story.
Several MCLA students were also there as volunteers for the event, and Janis talks about why it was important for the students to be in attendance.
It's very important. The students have been a big part of this in sort of the planning, the execution, and the success of it. So their work's been invaluable. And really, I think it's important. It gives students, particularly history students, public history minors, and other volunteers, gives them an opportunity really to have hands-on experience, to sort of see what it's like to be a historian, and also be part of the community, right? I think a lot of students were really excited about the opportunity to reach out to the community and do something beyond MCLA's sort of kind of campus. So it's a great opportunity for the students, and I've been really impressed by their work and couldn't have really done it without them.
Janice ends by telling us his hopes for future events.
Yeah, we're hoping to do this in the future. We're talking with Mass MOC about possibly in January, when they're having the beginning of their 20th anniversary for their museum, of doing a history harvest there, talking about the history of the museum and also sort of Sprague Electric. So we really would love to kind of do these in the future and continue to reach out to the community and give them a chance to share their history.
And for Beacon Web News, I'm Julia Texera.
It's the city that never sleeps, and MCLA students will have the chance to visit on Saturday, December 1st by signing up for the NYC Holiday Bus Trip. Hosted by RPS, the bus will depart from Montana Street at 8 a.m. and depart NYC at 7 p.m. The trip is open for all MCLA residents, and the price is $15. To sign up for the trip, visit RPS at Townhouse 89. Say cheese, seniors! Senior photos will be taking place November 28th from 12 to 7, November 29th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., December 5th from 9 to 12, and the same day in Pittsfield from 3 to 5 p.m. All photos will be taken in the Campus Center Achievement Lounge on the second floor. Get ready for jingle bells and tiny elves by joining the City of North Adams at the annual tree laying ceremony Wednesday, November 21st. This holiday hometown kickoff event will be taking place at Monument Square on Main Street. Santa will also make a special appearance to hand out goodies to all the kids. Interested in joining BWN or the Beacon? Contact Professor Sean McIntosh or Peter Gentile for further information on how to receive credit and build your portfolio in a class that simulates life in the newsroom environment. That's it for this episode. To stay up to date with BWN, be sure to follow us on our official Facebook page at facebook.com/MCLABWN. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.